Okay, I have to start with this. Did you see that meme that was all over X yesterday? The one that looks like an old painting?
The guy in the swamp. Thumbs up.
That's the one. He's up to his neck in this like awful green sludge. He's clearly drowning, but he's got both thumbs sticking out of the water.
Yeah, and the caption is something like, when people ask how the second term is going.
Exactly. And it is so grim, but it's also, I think, the most accurate vibe check for Washington, D.C. right now.
It really is. It perfectly captures this weird feeling in the air.
It does, because, today is February 12th, 2026. We're a little over 1 year into this administration. And on the surface, it's all thumbs up. Efficiency, new rules, the market's up. But under the water,
It's just complete chaos.
total chaos. So that's what we're doing today, a kind of state of the state deep dive. We're looking at the actual machinery of government 1 year in.
And based on the sources, the financial reports, the legal briefs, that Bondi hearing transcript, it feels less like a machine and more like a massive collision.
That's the perfect word. It's like an unstoppable force meeting an immovable object.
On one side, you have this whole efficiency agenda, DOGE, AI, the workforce cuts. And on the other side, you've got the federal courts.
And what the legal scholars are calling the snapback.
Exactly. The snapback.
So for our deep dive today, here's the mission. We're going to try to sort of connect the dots between these three big forces. The algorithmic order they're trying to build, the legal wall they keep running into, and then this ethical storm that's just swirling around everything.
And we have to start with the money. I mean, we have to, because as of yesterday, the way the U.S. government spends money has fundamentally changed.
You're talking about the wall of receipts.
The wall of receipts, yeah. Officially, it's the Trump accounts reporting rule,
Yeah.
and it went fully live on February 11.
I tried logging into the portal this morning. It's a lot. It looks like a stock ticker, and an accounting spreadsheet had a very complicated baby.
It's overwhelming by design.
So break down the mechanism for me. I mean, we've heard audits a million times. What makes this so different?
Well, the difference is the engine that's running it. This isn't, a room full of people with green visors and calculators.
Right.
This is a dragnet run by artificial intelligence. The administration has brought in Palantir and Oracle to build this real-time granularity system.
Real-time granularity. That sounds intimidating.
It's designed to kill the old model. For decades, government contracting was all cost plus. You hire a consultant, they bill you for their cost, plus a guaranteed profit.
It basically incentivized spending more money. The more you spend, the more you make.
The famous $600 hammer, exactly. This new system, though, uses AI to check every single transaction.
Everyone.
Every single one, against global market rates in real time. So if the Department of Education buys a pencil for $2 and the AI knows the bulk rate is 15 cents, boom, it gets flagged instantly.
Okay, I mean, on paper, that sounds great. Who doesn't want to save money? But I was reading the memo, and there seems to be a huge catch for the actual people involved.
Oh, a massive catch. It's the 30-day justification rule.
Right.
If the AI flags anything, a pencil, a plane ticket, whatever, the federal employee who authorized it has 30 days to write up a justification for why that specific expense was necessary.
And if they don't, or they can't.
The Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, that's the Musk and Ramaswamy Commission.
Yeah.
They automatically claw it back. The money is gone.
But just think about the workflow there. If you're a mid-level manager at, say, the EPA, and you have to write an essay every time the AI questions a purchase, when do you do your actual job? Analyzing water samples or whatever.
That is precisely the argument the unions are making. They're calling it paralysis by transparency. Because if you're terrified that buying printer paper will trigger a federal investigation, you just stop. You stop buying paper. You stop working.
Which, and I'm being cynical here, might actually be the entire point.
It's definitely a feature, not a bug. And it's forcing this big shift to fixed price contracts. You're seeing this whole reshuffling of who wins and who loses in D.C.
So the old guard, the Booz Allen Hamiltons, the ones who sell consulting hours?
They are bleeding contracts. Their stock is down, 15% this quarter alone?
Meanwhile, the tech guys who built the AI net.
Palantir, Oracle, they're soaring. It has essentially become the new operating system for the entire federal government. It's that Silicon Valley mindset. Move fast, break things, and measure absolutely everything.
But you can't just measure people out of a job, or actually, looking at the data, maybe you can. We're down something like 200,000 federal employees.
The number is 228,598 to be exact. It's about a 10% reduction in the civilian workforce in just 1 year. We're down to about 2.08 million people.
That is just a staggering number. And it's not all people retiring. This gets us to the other big tool they're using, Schedule F, although I guess we can't call it that anymore.
No, it's been rebranded. Schedule Policy Career. The OPM, the Office of Personnel Management, just finalized that rule this week. It takes effect on March 8th.
Okay, so Schedule F has been this bogeyman for years. Now that it's actually happening, what does it do?
In short, it redefines what it means to be a political employee. Historically, you've had this bright line, right? Political appointees serve the president, and career civil servants are supposed to be nonpartisan experts who stay on.
And this new rule just erases that line.
It completely blurs it. And it does that by massively expanding the definition of policy-related work.
Right, and this is the key detail. It's not just about firing the head of an agency.
No, not at all. Under this new rule, a scientist at the EPA who writes a report on, say, groundwater contamination, is now considered influencing policy, and so that person can be reclassified.
So a scientist who's maybe been there for 20 years, an expert in their field, can suddenly just become an at-will employee.
Overnight, gone. Their job protections, their independent appeals process, all of it. If the administration decides they aren't aligned with the mission, they can be let go.
It's that startup culture again. Culture fit at the Department of Agriculture. But firing 50,000 people creates a lot of lawsuits. So I was reading about this other strategy they're using, constructive discharge.
Ah, yes. If you can't fire them, you move them until they quit.
This is the relocation strategy.
The patriotic relocation strategy is the official term.
Yep.
The stated goal is to get agencies out of the D.C. bubble and move them into the American heartland.
Which, sounds pretty good on a campaign sign.
It polls very well. But then you look at the actual targets. They want to move 1,500 FBI jobs to Huntsville, Alabama. They're ordering the Small Business Administration to shutter its offices in sanctuary cities.
And the practical effect of that is what?
Well, we saw the pilot program for this in the first term with the Bureau of Land Management. They moved it to Colorado, and what happened? 75% of the staff quit. People don't just uproot their families, their spouses' jobs, their kids' schools, because a politician decided to move their office to another state.
So you just get this massive brain drain. You lose all that institutional knowledge without ever technically firing anyone.
That's the goal. But this is where that collision we talked about happens.
Yeah.
Because it turns out you can't just move an entire federal agency on a whim. And the lawyers were fighting back with some very old laws.
I saw a reference to something called the Residence Act. Are we really going back to 1790 for this?
All the way back. The Residence Act established Washington, D.C. as the seat of government. And the argument now is that the law requires the headquarters of these agencies to physically be at the seat of government.
That's a fascinating legal argument. You can't move the FBI because George Washington said so.
It's creative. And they're pairing it with NEPA, the National Environmental Policy Act.
How does that work?
They're arguing, look, if you move 2,000 employees and all their cars to a new city, that creates traffic, it creates pollution. You need to do an environmental impact statement first. And of course, they haven't.
Which brings us to the snapback. Because for all this aggressive action, for all the AI and the relocations, the administration is just getting crushed in court.
Crushed is putting it mildly. It's a total rout. I've been tracking the civil cases related to these executive actions out of 128 decisions so far.
What's the administration's win-loss record?
They have won 5. 5 cases. The plaintiffs, the unions, the states, civil liberties groups, they've won 49. The rest are all tied up in injunctions.
5 wins out of 128. That's an unbelievable failure rate. Why? The whole narrative was that the judiciary was captured.
And that's the most interesting part of this whole story. The judiciary is acting like a bungee cord. The executive branch took this huge leap, expecting to just keep falling, and the court has snapped them right back.
And it comes down to a legal theory.
It comes down to something called the unitary executive theory. The administration believes the president has total, unchecked control over the entire executive branch. But the courts, even conservative Trump-appointed judges, are saying, not so fast.
Like with the attempt to fire the Federal Reserve Governor, Lisa Cook?
Exactly.
Yeah.
The D.C. Circuit Court basically said, look, Congress has the power to create